to the Northwest Bruin Football Show to kick off the 2022 football season. I'm Josh Robinson, the head football coach, and we're here to talk about a very good win last week at Pepperell High School in Lindale, Georgia. Pepperell has been to the postseason for 18 straight years. One year they only played in a play-in game about 6, 7, 8 years ago. They've won state championships, so they're a perennial playoff team. They are in a lower division than us. They only have 200 less kids than Northwest High School does. So it's not like we're gigantically different than them. But we were able to play better in the second half, use our depth that we have, and come away with a big win this past Friday, 46-17 over Pepperell at their home field to open the season at 1-0. Offensively, we had some spurts like typical first game. Things looked really good, and then they didn't look good. And you kind of work through and fix it, but in the second half, especially in the third quarter, we go in at halftime down winning 12-10, and in the third quarter, we were really able to take control. I believe we scored 22 straight to go up 32-0, scored our first drive in the fourth quarter to really be able to sub in our other guys and get our backups and some JV guys some time, which is always a good night for Northwest when that happens. Offensively, we really did a good job. We were able to run the ball. I think it's the most rushing yardage off the top of my head. I believe it was 247 yards that we rushed for. So that's definitely a good night that we are proud of. But again, I've said it before, we may throw the ball 47 times against Cahoga Creek or any given opponent. We're going to try to take what's given to us, and Pepperell was really giving up the run more than they were the pass. But at the same time, Owen Brooker was 18 for 21 throwing the ball with 200 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. So a really good night for Owen, typical for him. Probably a atypical first game, so it was really good for him to start out solid. First games are always difficult for everybody, and it's probably the best first game Owen's played. He's a senior now. If my calculations are right, I believe he was starting his 39th football game at quarterback for us. So we kind of had high expectations for him, and he went out and performed for sure. Our backup, Gavin Knuckles, was 4 for 4, 85 yards passing and a touchdown as well. Gavin's going to be a tremendous player for us. He's just a freshman. He's getting some time at wide receiver, had a rush on the night on a reverse play. He's really athletic and has some very promising things to go for the Northwest Bruins in the future. Rushing-wise, Cameron Collins, our starter, got hurt on, I want to say, the 6th carry of the night for him or so, and he was on pace for a really good night, close to 40 yards at that time. So we kind of went by committee after that, and our guys really did a good job. Kayden Ramsey, really a starting linebacker for us, came in with 13 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. Just a really solid night for him. And again, he starts at linebacker. He's a sophomore. We moved him from safety down to linebacker and spent most of his time over there. So to come in and do those things was really good. And then Dominic Johnson, another sophomore for us, had an outstanding night with 12 carries for 46 yards, and most of those yards were very difficult to come by. And Cameron, I was a little wrong there. He only ended up with 4 carries on the night, 34 yards. I believe his last carry where he got hurt, slight ankle sprain, we're hoping to have him back this week, was his longest carry of 13 yards. We also had Mason Mays, a freshman for us, come in with 5 carries for 29 yards. And Owen Brooker kind of capped things off with 7 carries for 24 yards and 2 touchdowns. We didn't ask Owen to carry the ball too much. He got dinged up a little bit in the second quarter. Part of the reason we ran the ball significantly in that. But we had a couple more that we're going to expect big things out of. Gavin Knuckles had that reverse for 22 yards for us, really athletic kid. Then Tony Bernecki, he's been concentrating at linebacker, and with Cameron going down, we're going to move him to concentrate on offense the next few weeks, and he's another sophomore, runs extremely hard. We love his work ethic and his attitude as he carries the ball with a purpose for sure. Receiving-wise, sophomore for us ended up leading us on the night because he had a long of a 34-yard reception for a touchdown, but Kendris Douglas, known as Kin, had 2 catches for 61 yards and touchdown. Kin's loaded with talent. As he grows up and becomes more experienced and learns to play and practice with those consistency, he's going to do great things for us. Hudson Gray played defense for us, had 5 and offense, of course, had 5 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. I believe his touchdown put us ahead and picked up our 12th point on the night. So it was early on and a big catch for us. Isaiah Foster, one of the really talented guys that plays defense a little bit, but we really moved from defense last year as a sophomore to he's a junior just like Hudson, to have 6 catches for 47 yards and a touchdown. Really good night by him. He's growing up. He's learning how to play the position and is only going to get better and better. Junior for us named Harrison Daniel had 2 catches, 47 yards. We're very thankful. Harrison's fought a lot of injuries, and probably we'll see his playing time increase as he goes and how kind of his health shores up, because we've kind of had 2 or 3 months where he's been banged up, and we're thankful to be able to have him even play in the first game. So good production is an added bonus for sure. Braxton Floyd, and the returning starter for us, played almost every play on defense, had 2 receptions for 35 yards, and had a really long catch, one of the best layout catches that been at Northwestern in my time. I've been around. This is my 20th year here, so definitely a great play by him and something we expect out of one of our senior leaders. Austin Cooley had 3 catches for 34 yards, didn't play as a sophomore, just came back, started on the baseball team for us here as a sophomore and is able to contribute. Jace Talley, one of our starters, is out. He and Austin are going to play a lot of time, and just kind of depends on the situation, but Austin did a great job filling in for Jace and also scoring a touchdown on the night. Cameron Collins had 1 catch for 5 yards out of his backfield spot, and then Brecken Sermons, one of our juniors, works really hard. We were able to get him in a large number of plays for a first game for sure, and being a reserve role, and then also came in with 1 catch for 4 yards. So overall, a very good night for our offense. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. Here we are entering the field. Very exciting. We was a little worried about a lightning delay. Fortunately, we didn't have to. Owen throwing the ball early in the game. Good protection from our O-line. I believe we have 3 new starters up there. One of our guys, Cade Combs, got hurt. Ultimately, we ended up punting the ball away. And on the very first play, they had a big gain and moved it down inside. And here you see a host of Bruins trying to keep them out of the end zone. And we came kind of close to doing it. Here's a good play by Connor. Probably should appear just a second earlier. But ultimately, unfortunately, we start the game down 7-0, come back on offense. Here's a good job by our offensive line. I was mentioning earlier, Cade Combs, our starter, he got hurt at center, and we got Landon Eubanks, a new guy for us who came in as a sophomore, doing a good job. And then we got Jackson Greason and Gian Gomez, Cooper King, all coming in and playing well for us there, and we're running the ball and doing those things here, trying to make something happen. And our defense, there's Jax Brooker and Braxton Floyd involved. They got the ball past midfield, which is definitely a challenge. And Caden Ramsey probably has a chance to knock the ball loose, make a big play. Kind of hesitates a little bit, but ends up making them throw it bad. Here's one of Ike Rawson's good plays, punching the ball out. There's Miles Mays, who probably should have had the ball, and ultimately Pepperell ends up with it and is going to punt the ball away from midfield here to Braxton Floyd for us, and they end up getting a pretty good kickoff. Not terrible field position, but we're going to start out on the 16-yard line, running the power here right before the end of the half. And if you look right there, just so you can see Cameron Turdy's ankle, it happened so quickly I was standing right in front of it and didn't notice it. So unfortunately, we were without him the rest of the game. Hope to get him back this week and next. And good effort by Austin Cooley there as Hudson Gray catches it on the swing. There's Kayden Ramsey, maybe a little high running in. It's only going to get better. And here's Dominic Johnson really running hard, and should have been stopped for no gain. Picks up a couple of yards there and come back, and Caden Ramsey ends up knocking the ball down for Northwest. He's blitzing again, kind of makes things happen. Jackson Holt gets in, and we end up with a fumble that gives us the ball on the 30-yard line for our offense, which is something we need. When they're struggling a little bit, we've got to step up, and same thing for them and us, which it goes hand in hand. Good job by our O-line blocking, going across the front there. Again, a couple of sophomores and juniors, and we're running hard. We bring in our heavy package, and Bryce Bryant and Jackson Holt in there at guard and tackles. We're in a little unbalanced set, and we're able to finish off with a touchdown. Unfortunately, we missed the extra point. We come back on defense here, trying to run the sprint draw. They know we like blitzing from over there. Our linebackers are all there to make the play, and a great play, I believe, by Avery O'Neill. Good tackle by Ike Rawson again. Again, he had a really good night for himself, kind of going where he's supposed to, making plays even when he was blocked, and that's not always Easy. Matter of fact, that's probably the most difficult part about being a defensive football player is making plays when you're a blocked individual. So we come back on offense. Dominic Johnson rushing the ball hard. Good job by our O-line creating some seams in there for us. We're trying to go as fast as we can. Kayden Ramsey bouncing it off the edge. Our receivers got to go get involved in the mix. Dominic Johnson again makes a good cut, cuts it back there, and is able to pick up a good gain. Here's Dominic again breaking through, getting the ball up to about the 20-yard line. Solid job by our offensive line. We like to get a little more push. We're a little high, typical first game Blues. Austin Cooley with a big catch to get us inside the 15-yard line. Good scramble by Owen Brooker, and he ending up going out of bounds around that 3-4 yard line. We bring our heavy package back in. Owen ends up booting away, and we've got to do a little better job blocking on the perimeter, but Owen outruns everybody to give us 6 more points. We go for a 2-point conversion, and it fails, so ultimately we're up to 12-7. Right before half, we have a kickoff breakdown. We don't kick the ball where we're supposed to. We miss some tackles, and then they really are just trying to run out the clock. They pick up about 40 yards, and ultimately, due to a penalty, which should have been an offsetting penalty, ends up kicking the ball inside our 10-yard line to cut the score to Northwest 12, Pepperell 10. Welcome back to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. I'm Josh Robinson. I'm glad to have all of you, and we especially hope you were able to come out to Wendell to watch our team perform. We've just finished talking about our offense a little bit ago, and now we're going to talk about our defense. We have several guys up front on the D-line. We're going to call probably, I would say regularly, between our D-line and linebackers, 10, 11 guys are going to play for us, which is really good. We have a lot of good senior leadership up front, and we feel like we're relatively experienced. We're definitely bigger than we've been. We're heavier. We're a little taller. So all has the potential, but size doesn't matter. You've got to go play football. We played really poorly on the first possession, and then the last possession of the first half we didn't play as well. But other than that, in between and in the second half, I was really pleased with our progress from the scrimmage against Calhoun to the game versus Pepperell. Let's look at the stats a little bit. Colton Harrington, one of our seniors, started for us and ended up with 2 tackles on the night. Playing again, most of our D-line is going to play 15 to 20 plays, and Colton played that, was able to contribute on special teams. Same thing with Jake Billings, had a couple of tackles for us on the night, as well as Gian Gomez picking up 2 tackles. Both those guys are seniors, going to work in for us. Gian plays offense as well. Miles Mays, a sophomore for us, who played a lot as a freshman last year. I believe he started 5 or 6 games due to Hayden Maynard's injury, and was able to contribute for us in kind of his typical fashion. Probably not as good a first game as he'd like to have, but I think he's going to improve for sure. He ended up with 4 tackles on the night. Avery O'Neill, another guy that didn't play last year, who is playing, that played baseball, has come out in football, and he ended up with a very good night. Still some technique things he's got to work on, but he had 5 tackles and a tackle for a loss, which was extremely effective. Jackson Holt is coming off an injury in the spring, had a Jones fracture in his foot. He's a really big guy for us. Had a tackle for a loss, and a forced fumble in his 15 plays. So we're anticipating him getting more plays and some time on offense as well. Bryce Bryan is a guy who came from us, just showed up one day from Marietta, from Sprayberry High School. His parents moved up here. into our district, and he's turned out to fit in with our team perfectly and ended up having a tackle on the night, playing 15, 20 plays, still learning our system. We expect big things out of him. And then another D lineman, Connor Thomas, on the night ended up with 5 tackles and a forced fumble, and 4 of those tackles came in on kickoff. So he did a really good job for us. As he learns and kind of understands the expectations for the football team, I think he's going to do some really, really good things for us. Moving on to our linebackers, starting off with our outside linebackers, Iker Alston had 7 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, a sack, 2 caused fumbles, and a recovered fumble. So just an outstanding job by Ike. Ike and I talked. He felt really comfortable. He got better and better starting as a junior. He started out last year missing the first 4 games with a broken wrist and came back for game 5. So he's really only started 6 games, even though he's a returning starter, and was ultra productive. He was throwing his body around, really playing how we thought a linebacker should play and what he's capable of. Other starter, Connor Cummings, who's a really smart player, very intelligent, who had lost his grandmother early in the week and missed a couple of days of practice, unfortunately, that he had to deal with that with his family, and our prayers go out to them. But Connor ended up with 3 tackles. Didn't really have a chance to get involved there. Pepperell was an H-back-oriented offense, which is kind of away from him, but was still able to impact the game for us as he typically does, and playing smart. And then Dawson Whitmore, a very talented junior for us. He's just got 2 really good seniors in front of him. Thankfully, we were able to get him some time and some experience. He ended up with 2 tackles and got to play about 20 plays on the night. So overall, we got some guys some experience, and they produced some results, and so that was really good. We had some young guys come in, and we'll talk about them a little bit when we get to the film. But in the inside, Jax Brooker had 2 tackles. Jax kind of felt like he didn't play well, but he played a tremendous ball game for us, way better than his first game last year, and he was good last year. But he's just got a lot of talent around him, and his ability to make those 10, 15 tackles is going to be dictated by the offense and what the offense is doing. And now he's got some guys that are more experienced and we're bigger, so it's going to allow us to make a few more plays that he's not going to be in on. And he ultimately cares about the team, and we know that he's going to give us his all every single week. I love for our players to be hard on themselves, but maybe not quite so hard in Jax's case. Kayden Ramsey came on again with two tackles, 1 sack, and a tip pass or a pass breakup. Just a tremendous first game for him, where we moved him mid-spring practice because we felt like our secondary had kind of got shored up and we wanted some depth at linebacker. We really didn't know where he would end up. In the depth chart list, he kind of established himself as the top guy and just grew the entire summer, and the Calhoun game helped him tremendously get to where he needed to be. And we anticipate him only getting better as a sophomore for us. And then Dominic Johnson, who also we've mentioned carrying the ball for us, another sophomore who did a good job, plays really hard for us at linebacker. Again, there's going to be more guys as we go through our highlights that we're going to mention. We're just mentioning the main guys that played early in the game at this point. In the secondary, Dominic Smith's kind of our leader back there. Has been starting for 3 years, had 4 tackles, a fumble recovery that he returned for 46 yards. Technique was good, but not where he wanted it to be. He's worked on that and will work on that going forward to make sure he's just giving the Bruins the best chance to win. He really loves our team and what we're trying to achieve. Raven Foster, a sophomore for us, is getting good playing time. He started in the secondary, ended up with 3 tackles. Overall, a very good game for a first-time starter, but at the same time, we think he's full of talent, and we expect him and want him to only get better, and we need him to get better so that we can perform at our max capacity that we can. Braxton Floyd and Hudson Gray are both senior, or Braxton's a senior, Hudson's a junior. They're both contributing from their offense, coming over and playing defense, and we were missing one of our guys. Reese Coward, unfortunately, was sick and not able to play in the game. We're looking forward to having him back and kind of giving us more depth and his experience back there. But Braxton and Hudson played really good for us, and in that dual role, and on a night where they're being asked to play 60, 70, 80 plays, where most of our guys are playing 40, 50 plays. It is really big and says a lot about their character. And then Isaiah Foster, exact same things can be said about him. He's starting at receiver and coming over and helping on the defense side of the ball. So we're super thankful for those guys' efforts to care about defense, even though their name might not get in the paper as much as it does on offense. Overall, good night, but we definitely want to be better and need to be better next week as we take on Cahola Creek. At this time, let's take a look at the second half highlights. We come back in the second half, and Pepperell elected to kick to begin the game, so they come back and they start off on offense, and a good play by Ike Ralston coming off that block again, like we've already mentioned. Great job by Connor setting the edge. Just got to keep his hat outside. Our safety needs to appear. Missed too many tackles there, but ultimately Miles Mays has a good play and runs him down. They were holding Jax Brooker on the play. They tried the sprint and draw again. Avery O'Neill, Bryce Bryant, Jax Brooker all in on the tackle for us, and we make Pepperell punt. So that's extremely important when you start the half with a good possession. Braxton is able to get the ball. He doesn't pick up a ton, but it's amazing how important those 7-8 yards are. It brings it closer to midfield, gives a little more room to work with, and we bring Isaiah into the slot. Does a good job of picking up 6-7 yards there. Good throw by Owen Brook. We were on the screen to the boundary. Isaiah gets the ball. He caught this earlier, kind of danced around, but this one he found his way, got up the sideline, was able to make some things happen. Dominic Johnson, again, not a big play for us, but it is a big play because he's able to pick up those 3 or 4 yards. Great read by Kayden Ramsey, keeping the clock moving, keeping the yardage going, and we've already got a lead, so we're trying to go up bigger here. I believe I said earlier, Hudson Gray's touchdowns in the second quarter. It's in the third to put us up 18-10. And we bring on Grant Holder for the extra point. He makes this one. Grant's loaded with talent. He's just got to have confidence every time he goes out. And we're up at this point, 2 possessions, 19-10. Jax Brooker had the snap there, and Braxton Floyd on the hold. Just like last year, Grant has a great kickoff, and that's completely what he's capable of. They end up running, and we slant and move in. Bad snap right there that we miss. Great tackle by Connor Cummings for a loss. Ike Ralston getting some pressure, makes the quarterback roll out, and he ends up having to throw the ball away. Good job by Ike for us with blitzing Caden Ramsey again. We see that ball right there. Connor should probably come a little bit quicker, but good job of Connor Thomas and Connor Cummings knocking the ball loose. And then Dominic Smith grabbing the ball and getting down low. And here's our freshman. I think anybody in the stadium can see how fast the young man is. Gavin Knuckles is extremely talented, makes a good cut on the sideline. He's going to help us at receiver and returner and everything else in between as he learns the quarterback position for us. And there, Austin Cooley's able to catch the post as they work a little bit wide to put us up 25-10. We're up 2 scores for sure now, and we're able to make a big play. Good tackle by Avery O'Neill. Again, very talented young man for us as he's catching on, learning the game of football. They're throwing the out route. Fairly good coverage there by Braxton. A little bit of pressure made the quarterback throw the ball a little errant. We get some pressure up the middle, and we're able to come off with a tackle there by Caden Ramsey as we apply pressure and make the quarterback step up in the pocket. Force another punt right here as Braxton Floyd's deep. Probably want to field that one, but ultimately we got a good bounce, a favorable bounce that put it back near midfield, which is definitely where we want to try to make our offense start. Owen Brooker throwing the ball deep, and there's an unbelievable catch by Braxton Floyd, landing on the ball, kind of knocked the breath out of himself, did an outstanding job for us. Here's Austin Cooley with another throw from Owen Brooker, and good protection from our O-line and running back, getting us down close. And here's Caden Ramsey. Again, that experience, he wasn't able to put his head down and get in, but we run the quarterback here and run right behind our big guys, and we have several plays out of this. We're looking forward to using this formation several times during the year and take advantage of all the plays that we have. But we're able to run right ahead, and then Grant Holder comes on and kicks the extra point to put us up 32-10 at this point. We've scored 22 straight. And we're feeling good, but know the game's not over. That young man right there that's fielding the ball is one of the best football players we play all year. He's very explosive. Good job by our kickoff team adjusting. Grant, again, just a little inconsistency. When he hits things consistent, man, he is so good. Good hit right there by Braxton Floyd. Good job by, I believe that was Connor Cummings getting on the ball. Ike Ralston kind of dancing upfield, squeezing like he's supposed to, and then making a play in the backfield, so another tackle for a loss for him. We're bringing a little bit of pressure here. They're throwing a little high, and we've got good coverage, and Connor Cummings was in the way there and make them throw it a little more errant than even just with our DB. They get another kickoff, punt, and it gets down to our 42. Again, the theme has been our offense is getting the ball near midfield. So I know that's something that Cold Creek and our other opponents are going to want to limit. We throw a crossing route here to Kendrick Douglas. He makes a big gain and then really has a big hit at the end of the run right there to end the half on a good note. We're down close, and We're about to pick up our 29th point of this half as Isaiah. He's got to come away with that cleanly, but comes up with a touchdown. And Grant Holder comes on, Braxton Floyd on the hold, and Jax Brooker on the snap to really give us a commanding 39-10 lead. We get a bounce right here, and the ball's getting returned wide. We do a good job of adjusting. We just got to break down and make that initial tackle. Still a good job by our defense. Here we've kind of started subbing. We've got some different guys in, trying to mix it in. Kayden Ramsey and Dominique are in. We've brought Jax out. We're trying to get some other guys some plays. Dawson Whitmore in there. Great job by Ike Rawson, exactly how we want our outside linebackers to play. We just wanted to wrap up and finish that tackle, but a great job by him. Bringing pressure, they run the counter here with the quarterback who they had success a couple plays earlier. With some of our backups in, we were able to tackle it for a no gain. They drop back for a pass. Jax Brooker really gets in the passing lane and returns it for a touchdown. And they called our freshman Lucas Amos for a personal foul there when he's the one that got pulled down. It is what it is, and I hate it for Jax because I don't know that he's ever scored a high school touchdown. He returns the interception and gets called back. Here you see Tony Bernecki. He's one of our young guys that we really like, who we're going to get some more reps there, and I want to see how he performs in the game and how hard he runs. There's Mason Mays making a great cut for us, who's going to be an outstanding player, and then a Kendrick Douglas. We're throwing short stuff, you know. We're up by a good amount here, but we're trying to give Gavin that opportunity and those receivers that opportunity to perform in a game where it's not just run every time. There's Lucas Amos in the backfield coming through and making a tackle for a loss. Dawson Whitmore also in on the tackle there. Oh no, I couldn't see who it was. We have a host of Bruins that end up making a tackle. Good job by our guys flying to the ball. And you can see our young defensive guys, our defensive line, our linebackers really are doing a good job, but they end up scoring on a counter play. Got their older O-line in, which is good. It gives our guys great experience. Here, you know, typically we would kind of go 3 and out, punt the ball, all those kind of things, but we move the ball a little bit. It's 4th down at midfield. We want to go for it. We throw the ball deep, and we're just trying to get a first down. You know, I hate it for Harrison, but I'm glad we didn't go score right there, so we definitely don't want to embarrass anybody. We're up 46-17 as Northwest ends the game and starts the year at 1-0. Welcome back to the Northwest Bruin Football Show, and we'll wrap up our show at this time, kind of talking about next week's game. It's a great local rivalry. We play Cahoe Creek. They beat us on our home field last year in triple overtime, and you know, it was a disappointing start to our year, not just there, but we had 3 or 4 games where we did not play well, and we really emphasized that in the offseason and wanted to use that slow start. Not just the Cahoe game, but all 4 of our first games, and we won a couple of them. We just didn't start the season how we needed to. We've emphasized that, and our guys have responded. Our seniors have really been great leaders to try to get everybody focused. You know, going over there and playing those guys is going to be a good experience. Should be a great atmosphere. It's what makes high school football great. It's when you get to play those local guys that you know, that you may have grown up playing against, all those kind of things. And you probably, a lot of our kids play travel basketball, baseball, though, with part of their team, so you kind of know the guys, and you know, Coach Wilson does an outstanding job over there and his staff of getting those guys ready, and you know, it should be a challenging game for sure for both teams. I would be surprised if either team ran away with the contest for sure. I think it's going to be your typical rivalry where it's really close and a heated contest, and hopefully everybody keeps their emotions in check and we go play football for both sides, and I think it'll be really entertaining. We want a big crowd out there to support Northwest for sure. and try to cheer us on to a win so we can start the season 2-0. Until next week, this is Josh Robinson with Northwest Bruins Football.